Hey, friends, welcome back to the Rising Tide Life podcast. We are so excited that you're here. Man, we're excited. My name's Austin Samuelson. This is my good friend, Matt Carpenter, and we've got a great episode for you. I probably say that every time. Do I say that every time? I think so.
I think it's always true.
But it's always
at least
true.
That's our hope.
It's 100% true.
At least at the beginning, it's true.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it's like, things will be great. And sometimes the verdict's out, I guess.
No, this is going to be great. So we're so excited. We the last podcast we just did, we got done with it. I'm like, that's the best one yet. And I've said that before as well. But if you haven't listened to the previous episode from this one, go back and listen to it. Absolutely incredible. Matt, you did such a great job of talking about identity and breaking down, the lies that we hear versus what the Father wants to speak over us. And it was just really great podcast.
Yeah, I think together God's helping us, Austin. I really do think God's helping us. And there's so much that I said before that podcast and I said afterwards that is just that God's desire along with his word, God's heart for us as Father to set or reset our identity into his image. And then the power of his word, written word, and also just his declarations over us. You combine those two things together and it's hard for it to not be a great podcast.
Right.
Because it just means that God is glorified through it.
Yeah.
Because we're trying our best to put our focus on who is God. Mm-hmm. And in that light, then see who we are. Yeah. And see who we are in identity and then move forward with purpose and destiny with that. And I think that's definitely, like, looking back on this last one, I told you, I think that story of Jacob there's just so much of it that I'm just like, man, God, this is my life. And I do think there's so much of it that is every man's life in some sense.
Yeah, same here.
And so that discovery of new identity that carries with it new destiny is pivotal. And so that's really what we want to try and build off of with this podcast is if we are discovering who we are, how do we bring that into a place where we're seeing the world differently and interacting with it different?
Yeah.
And there's one verse that's like over probably the last month to 2 months that I just feel like God keeps on bringing me back to, both in my own life, but as I'm having dialogue with other people. And it's Mark 8:36. Yeah. And it's right in the middle of some incredibly powerful verses. But what it says there is, it says, so what does it profit a man? And this is Jesus speaking. He says, so what does it profit a man to gain the entire world, but to lose his eternal soul or to lose eternity? Mm-hmm. And that's like right after, so for whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever would lose their life for my sake will actually find life. Mm-hmm. And it's also in the broader context of Jesus saying, so the Son of Man is going to have to suffer. He's saying, like there's relationship with me, and I am God the Father manifest here on earth in a father-son relationship. But that doesn't mean there's an absence of suffering. In fact, through suffering, I'm going to bring about redemption. And so there's a process through which God is going to rebroadcast his image, which, so much of what we talked about within this podcast is we believe in a very garden to garden theology. So that means whatever God set up in the garden, he hasn't abandoned that plan. He had a plan in mind that was perfection, that God is still accomplishing that goodness or that perfection through the narrative, not just of Scripture, but of history. Yeah. And so whatever was set out there in the garden as what was meant to be, God is still getting us back to that. Yeah. And he's taking a different pathway, and that pathway isn't always a pathway of redemption, but he's getting us back to that. And so when Jesus is saying, this is how it's going to happen. I'm going to go through suffering, but in that I'm going to establish new identity. And it's really God's identity or God's image that Jesus is broadcasting on this earth. But he's saying, I want to broadcast that through each one of you. And so he's saying this to his disciples, that that as you navigate through things on this earth, you're going to go through good times, you're going to go through hard times, but in it, there's hope.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily always circumstantial hope.
Yeah.
In other words, he's not saying it'll always be good for you in your circumstances. What he's saying is it will always be good for you in what is being produced in identity in you. And that's where destiny lies, is in redeemed identity. And so that's a little bit the context of it. But that verse in particular, I think why that one is sticking with me so much right now is there's so much in kind of the performing, producing world of grown men that's focused on profits.
Yeah.
That is in business, like, well, you know, what's the profit line? What's the margin? You know, like, and even I'm watching my own son, like, kind of go through this. Like, my second son, Lane, he's in the middle of growing a business right now, which has been super fun to kind of watch him. So last year he started a golf club resale business. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, you know, so much of it was just learning to start off with, you know, like I remember the first time, you know, we talked to him about getting a job over the summer. He had one job, about getting another job, and he was like, "Yeah, I just don't know what I'm doing." I'm like, "Well, figure something out," you know. And I've always wanted my boys to both work an hourly job, but I've also wanted them to learn kind of how to be their own boss. I think there's value in both of those things. Yeah. So I remember the first time he came to me. He's like, "Yeah, I went and picked up this Scotty Cameron putter." I'm like, what business do you have buying a Scotty Cameron? Which, if you don't know, like, that's kind of like one of the most expensive putters you can buy. It's Titleist made, but Scotty Cameron is a particular segment even of Titleist, and so I mean their putters brand new, like, are up to I think $600 or something like that. And so I'm like, what do you, and he's like, no, he's like, I'm going to try and resell it. I'm just like, oh man, like, Lane, you know nothing about golf, nothing about golf clubs. But, you know, like, but coming in this spring, now that was last, you know, kind of late spring where he started it. Like, Lane has learned about value. He's learned about golf club value, like what something's worth, and that, you know, you can have this putter that you buy for $5 and that putter's worth $5. Yeah. And then you got this putter that you buy for $250, but it's worth $450. Yeah. And it's not about just the sticker price; it's the value of it, right? So he's like learning that, and I think that's not just a young man's learning curve. This is probably what so many of us are engaged into. We're trying to figure out where's margin, where can I add value, where can I get value out of something, and so, and that's a dialogue that God does not abandon us in. He isn't like, well, that's just worthless. Don't think about profits. Don't think about value. Jesus steps into that, and he's like, okay, now if you want to talk about profit, if you want to talk about value, let's talk about it. Yeah. But I want to reframe it for you. And I think my hope with this podcast is to reframe how we look at profits, because there's a lot of us who have gotten very good at determining what's profitable. Yeah. And investing heavily into that thing. And what we mean by that profit word is, does it produce more money? Yeah. And there's some men have gotten very, very good at figuring out just how to make money. Yeah. And how to profit. And or other men that are driven by people that are focused on the bottom line. You know, that's like, you know, I submit my reports for the month or for the year, and it's like, okay, good job. But now how can we make this more profitable? Now go figure it out. And so we're being trained constantly to see value or to focus on profits. And I think that's where Jesus steps into the middle of that and says, let me reframe this for you. Yeah. So that's kind of the hope with it. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. So I suppose just to throw it back into a personal thing, like, where do you find that at play in your life? Yeah, I think anytime I've heard that verse and you know, walk through it, it's immediately like, well, okay, don't go chase a bunch of profits and lose your soul and lose your family and you know. And so it's kind of like this, like, don't do this kind of thing.
and don't go do this and screw that up, you know. And there's certainly there's an element to what Jesus is saying there with that. But even as you're talking just now, the parable of the talents comes up.
Yeah.
So what Jesus articulates in that is this desire for us not to. I love what the Message says. It's like, it's not this play it safe like life.
Yes.
And he rewards the manager that he gives 10 talents to and gives him 10 more. He rewards the one he gives 5 talents to and gives him 5 more and praises him, right? And the one that doesn't do anything, he says, man, take his away and give it to him. How dare you live like this, right?
Yes.
So, okay, we're talking about this verse from Mark 8:36 of like, okay, what does it profit? And I've always thought about it in a negative context. And then we think about the parable of the talents, and Jesus is rewarding productivity. That's maybe where my mind always went with it.
Yes.
You know, efficiency. How profitable can you be? But I wonder if there's a different way to flip this on the head and think about it a little bit different.
You brought that in, Austin, because like that, even what you said about it is there's an element where in the Message version it says it's not a play it safe life.
Yes.
And I think that calls out to my heart. Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Because like for me, I probably in another life would be a gambler. Like I've kind of always been a risk taker, or at least wanted to be.
Yeah.
And there's something about that makes me feel alive.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it awakens something. And I think that's so much of why so many men continue on a journey of profitability, because like they get attached to the adrenaline that comes with I've put something out there in a risky mode.
Yes.
Right? And even if they've made $1 million or $2 million, it's like how many chips do I have to have on the table of life, so to speak, to feel that thing like that's like I'm alive again.
Exactly.
You know, like I've risked my life almost.
Or maintain the identity.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if it's like I'm a billionaire now.
Yeah.
Like, what do you see billionaires do?
They want to make more.
They want to. It's like, well, what? How can I profit?
Yeah.
And how can I get enough on the table again?
Yeah.
But now instead of $100, it's like it's a $1 billion real estate investment deal. You know, that's like, but it could profit this much if it works out. And that thing of like persevering to profit.
Yeah.
It is part of what makes us feel alive. And so also in this, then, just for context sake, I think at previous times in life, and I've heard other people interact with this verse in a life and post-death scenario.
Yeah.
That is, well, yeah, but how do you live on this earth? And that determines where you go when you die, okay? And so better be careful how you live while you're here, because what does it profit you if you go to hell? And I'm not trying to say that there's not a post-death heaven or hell. I absolutely believe that there are both of those.
Yeah.
I just think if you really look at it, Jesus rarely talks about either one of those.
Yeah.
Jesus' focus is on a kingdom that is here,
Yeah.
that is now, that is near, that is in you. That if you look at the language that Jesus uses, he says, now go tell people the kingdom of God is here.
Yes.
It's near you. It's now. And I don't think this is like a hiatus from that.
Yeah.
It's not like Jesus is like, yeah, but right now I'm just going to talk about post-death. In fact, I think even just the beginning of the 9th chapter, then he says, I tell you the truth then, some who are standing here will not taste death before they see the kingdom of God come in power.
Yeah.
So he's even saying, I'm not talking about post-death here.
Yeah.
And you can say, well, but he's just talking his own coming into his kingdom. But what was made available through Jesus' death and resurrection was that we could experience the kingdom fully while we are on this earth.
Yes.
In every moment, in every place. So it's with that context that we're going to try and approach this first. Okay, it's not about like, make sure you do right before you die, otherwise you'll forfeit your eternity and then you'll have to live in hell.
Yeah.
Jesus is trying to open up a doorway for us to experience a heaven on this earth. Yeah. and to not lose our souls
Yeah.
and to not lose eternity even as we're here.
Yeah.
How do we tap into the eternal nature of God to where we're constantly building up our soul through the investment of our lives versus degrading our soul? Because otherwise we are in jeopardy of becoming soulless old men.
Yeah.
That's like we just put everything on the table over and over again for the emptiness of Solomon.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm just going to try another thing.
Yeah.
Just going to now test myself with another venture, another business venture, another people venture.
Yeah. Another
and
conquest.
We end up soulless.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Jesus is talking about here.
Yeah. No, that's so good. Yeah. So I think when we were talking about this the other day, the kind of the turning point for me is you reframed it and you said, okay, so like how much more valuable is our soul than the profit of all the profit in the world?
Yes.
And I'm like, wait, yeah, that we tend to say, okay, I want to do whatever it takes for the profit that I can go and get and see right here, right now. And the invitation that Jesus is giving us is like, no, your soul is that much more profitable than all the riches of the world, right?
Yes. Well, and isn't life the journey of the discovery of that?
Yeah, yeah,
That when we try to risk something for other stuff, you know, like, and even if it is the risk of money in investment for the sake of financial profit, okay, or even if it's a part of it of even the chasing after a woman, it's another one of those risks where you're like putting yourself out there. You're like putting your identity out there to be either rejected, which is crazy painful, you know, or to be accepted, which is crazy awesome, right?
Yeah.
And to be loved, and so, but both of those things have still an end point to them, right? They're not fully eternal, and so whatever investment that we're making, whether it be into people or into things, our life here on this earth is actually the discovery, which I think is what you're saying, of what's actually valuable.
Yes. Yeah.
And do we have enough wisdom, like to look at what we are discovering and to determine with a litmus test of some kind, this is what actually matters. And this actually doesn't matter as much.
Yeah.
And so it's a value decision that Jesus is trying to deal with. Like, he's like, if you want to talk about value, let's talk about value. Let's talk about profit. How are you going to decide what's valuable and what's not?
Yeah.
And what he says is, what is it that will build eternity into your soul versus what is it that steals eternity away from your soul? Yeah. So I don't know. Like, what do you think that would mean then? Like, if Jesus was talking to you and he was saying, all right, Austin, you learned some things about value, you know profitability. Now, what in your life has built up eternity inside of you, and that you've discovered that as you have more of it, that it's satisfying in a way that doesn't necessarily bring comfortability, but it brings contentment.
Yeah.
And what are the things that instead that you've invested into and you've got more of that are constantly producing lack? What do you think Jesus would talk to you about with profitability?
I think for me right now, it's this, you mentioned this a second ago, is stepping into the mystery of like the pursuit of him and him speaking identity over me. And so, and that's very mysterious. That's requires surrender. It requires, and Jesus is talking about this right before it, right? You know, dying to ourselves. It requires like releasing, like, okay, here's the way I think this should go, or the way, you know, these are my plans. And instead it's just like, okay, God, I'm surrendering. I'm giving these hopes, these dreams to you, and trusting that you have better in store, you know? Yes. And I kind of liken it to, you know, a lot of times, like, you know, whether it's personal investments or whether it's things within business, you're thinking about, okay, how do we maximize our return on, investment, time, resources over the next 3, 5, 10 years, and it's a short-term horizon. And I think the invitation that Jesus is inviting us into is this active, like, investment. It's not hey, we go make the investment and we buy this stock and we forget about it and we just hope it goes up, and we buy and hold strategy, and when we cash it out in 30 years, it's grown and reproduced and all this stuff. It's this like active, like, continually working investment, and I don't know what the right analogy is for that, but it's this faith of like, hey, I'm hoping that the effort, the time, just the yielding to where the Father's directing is going to produce something greater than I can even see or imagine in my mind. Yes. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's sure. That's where I kind of go with this right now. It's there is a lot of mystery still in that. It's easy to go say, hey, the profit is tangible. The profit is what the world says. You can go read 100 books. You can go see, secular and non-secular. I mean, there's a lot of really great Christian business podcasts out there that will tell you, okay, this is the right way to go seek profit. And you can see it. It's there. You can go make this many calls, go do this many things, yes. Write your goals this way, not that way. And you will achieve.
Yes. Yeah, but at the end of the day, maybe you still end up with maybe gain in the right way.
Yeah.
But it's gain that still is producing a hollowness on the inside.
Yeah.
And I think that's absolutely true. And I think even, it's part of it that as I've watched you navigate through this over the last couple of years, that risk thing is something that you long for, but you want to risk for the right reason.
Right.
But like on the other side of it, security is what you thought that you would find.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, but like, I just want to know that my future is secure.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the journey, right?
Yeah.
That as a younger man, you look and you say, I'm willing to risk it for security later.
Yeah.
And really, again, financial security. And that means having this kind of a job to start off with, that I have a promised salary.
Yep.
That feels like, now I have security because I have a promised salary. Yeah. But then pretty soon that's not enough because, well, what if I lose my job? And then it's then I need enough in the bank account to where it will get me to the next job. And then it's like, well, what if I can't work anymore? And then it's, well, now I need security that I have enough money in the bank to where if I can't work anymore. Yeah. And so the longing for security, but all the while, God making you for some kind of different risk.
Yes.
And I think it's been, I think that journey is like you're dealing with it with wisdom.
Yeah. I mean, it's putting our hope on things that we can touch and feel and see, and we're even trained to do. Yes. Right. Versus this, hey, stepping into the identity that God's called us in the way that He's uniquely created and crafted each of us, and then trusting that He's got something better than we could ever imagine in that. I don't know. I'm struggling with words to fully articulate that, but it's this, I can see this versus like God's got something so much better over here.
Yeah.
And
I know for me, just to reflect on the last few years, that I think for me, the profit that I was seeking after that I didn't realize was, again, probably losing soul over, had to do with reputation, or something along those lines. Reputation, position, organizational authority. Yeah. That I had grown a lot in. And then in one day, like just a little over a year ago, like it kind of just all disappeared, right. Like I was fired on a Tuesday. Yeah. And there's so much of it at that moment that was like, I felt like, I've kind of lost everything is kind of what I felt like. Yeah. And the finances was a part of it, but it wasn't the biggest one for me, not at that moment. Yeah. it was, man, like what do people think about me now? And what have I lost of reputation? Like, what do I have to start over with in organizational authority and everything like that? Like, just there's so much of that stuff that just, and this is what I felt God spoke to me in it, and it really it lines up with this passage that was okay. So those three things: reputation, organization, and sorry, I just lost the third one I just said.
Finances.
No. Reputation. Anyway,
Yeah.
you guys know what it is, even if I can't remember right now. So those three things, God was like, well, look at what those are, though. That's wood, that's hay, and that's stubble.
Wow.
And none of those things will last beyond this earth.
Yeah.
And so you just got to watch them burn up. And is that a problem for you? And with that, God's saying, but you didn't lose anything that was actually precious or truly valuable.
Wow.
Okay? And that's what Jesus is saying, even with wood, the hay, and stubble, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, there's things that on this earth, they might be valuable for something, but they don't last. And God brought me back to actually the real stuff, the valuable stuff. You've lost none of that. You didn't lose my presence. In fact, I've been more present with you than maybe ever. You didn't lose anointing. My anointing is still on you. It's with you. You didn't lose real eternal relationships. You lost some more superficial ones that were organizational ones, but you didn't lose eternal ones. And so God was like, so would you rather know that right now, that those three things were wood, hay, and stubble, or would you rather waste, if I get another 10, 20, 30 years of my life on this earth, how much time would you want to waste investing into those three things?
Wow.
And I was like, wow, God, what a gift.
Yeah.
What a gift to get fired.
Yeah.
So that I can learn what's actually valuable.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how exactly everybody is supposed to get to the place. I just know how I'm getting to the place where more and more I can see this is what's actually valuable and this is what's not.
Yeah.
And what I want to have stored up is the valuable things.
Yeah.
Intimacy with God, the image of God. I want to have His presence stored up in my life. I want to have relationships that are rooted in eternity, and that are not linked to necessarily my production, my performance. But I want that and that contentment. But I also still want to be in the spot of risk,
right?
Which is also has been very much this year for me.
Yeah,
it's been like, all right, well then, God, like, what are we gonna do? And I just want to do it with you, God. Whatever we do, I just want to do it with you. And I've gotten to take some like really, really exciting, heart-pounding risks with God.
Yeah.
And it's making me more and more attached. And this is what I think. This is what I believe, Austin.
Yeah.
Is that thing that makes men want to just re-up again, even if they met the goal or have enough for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
They still they're like, oh man, I want to re-up again.
Yeah.
That's actually made for His kingdom.
Yeah.
That no matter what we experience of God in the pure gold that's refined by fire, that we're actually made for gold fever. That's just like, I just want to find more. I just want to experience more and more of eternity. Yeah. More of eternity in me, more of eternity through me. And so that prophet thing, Jesus, I don't think He's saying, don't think about profitability. Measure it differently, though.
Yeah, that's good.
And then what you experience out of it will be different if you measure what goes into it differently. Yeah. And don't invest into things that are wood, hay, and stubble. Don't center your life around money that burns, on clothes that moths can tear up. Don't store up things in a place where a thief can break in and steal away from you. Get invested into the right things. Yeah. So how do you think we then not just maybe determine what's valuable and what's not. I think there's, but talk to that more if you want to as well. But then how do we get more invested into what is the profitable stuff, truly profitable?
Yeah. I think that's a good question. I kind of go back to the last podcast where we talked about identity, and the practic out of that was start with the lies, not so that we live in the lies and we sit in the lies of like, what's the enemy whispering over us? But for me in this season, it's been, okay, let me start with what are the things that on the surface feel profitable, but I know they're just temporal and they don't mean anything.
Yes.
A year from now, 5, 10, 20, and certainly 1,000 years from now will mean absolutely nothing.
Yes.
And so that's where I've been a little bit in my journey of like, okay, if these are the areas. And when we were going, a couple weeks ago, we did the men's reset in Branson, right? And I drove up there, and the whole way up there, my mind's just turning on different business ideas and thinking about, okay, I'll do this and I'll do that. And God really, as we're getting closer to Branson, he's like, man, he spoke to me and he's like, hey, that's great that I've given you a mind to enjoy thinking about these things and to enjoy it. You're good at it, all these things. But he said, hey, you're spending the primary focus of your thinking time is, and I'm an introvert. I love thinking time, right?
Yeah.
But the primary focus of that, the primary time spent on it, the primary creative effort put into it is on these things.
Yes.
And these are temporal things.
Yeah.
And that really hit me as something of like, okay, that's an area that I've got to lay down and be willing to say, God, I'm going to spend that time that I would be thinking about kingdom things.
Yes. And so it's not even just laying it down.
Yeah.
It's using it for a different purpose.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
That is, God gave you a mind.
Yep.
And I think this is where I would say to so many men that have become somehow convinced that the following after God is ritual and routine,
Mm-hmm.
and it's therefore then filled with a lot of don't do's and boredom. That's not at all the life that Christ planned for us.
No, not at all.
We're actually made these beautiful minds that God has given us that we've used to build businesses and to imagine things and to dream and set goals and everything like that. To just take those beautiful things and say, God, I've got evidence now for the fact that you've used me to build this much of a business or a company or a bank account or a family or whatever. And now, how do you want to use that same thing to produce something that will last longer?
Yes. Yeah.
And I think I see that with you. I've got another friend who is who's an architect, and he's actually he's incredibly talented. He can do more on a napkin than most people can do. He's just he's an artist as well. And an architect is someone who brings together beauty and function. And they marry it together in a way that makes something that they can see accessible to other people, which is like really powerful. It's an incredible gift, and he's an incredible architect. And I was asking him, at one point, I was like, how satisfying is it when you've imagined a building and it's in your mind, and he has an incredible mind's eye. How satisfying is it when you first kind of draw that and you put that onto paper, both the beauty and the mechanics of it, and he's like, yeah, it's pretty satisfying. And I was like, how long does it last? He's like, yeah, not very long.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, but then how about when that building is then put in that blueprint is then put in the hand of a builder, and then you get to see the building, and you you don't just experience it two-dimensionally, you get to walk around in it, like I was like, how cool is that? As like as someone who sees, now you get to like walk through it. He's like, yeah, it really is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, how long does it last? He's like, yeah, not very long.
Huh.
And then the next question was, okay, what do you think would last longer than the paper or even the three-dimensional building?
Yeah.
Because like, paper is going to last, if you really try and preserve it for like, but it's going to get beat up or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not going to last for that long. And most of it's just going to end up in a waste bin.
Yeah.
A building, depending on what it's made out of, 100 years, 300 years, 400 years, whatever, like might last beyond him, right?
Yeah.
Paper's probably not going to last beyond his life. Building probably will.
Mm-hmm.
His satisfaction is temporary, but also the output is temporary.
Mm-hmm.
And so what is it that will last longer? And it's not about him doing less or utilizing his gifts and talents less. It's about what would profit a man. What would profit you as a man to take that beautiful gift that you've been given, that you can see what something can become before anybody else can see it.
Yeah.
And you can articulate it with pictures and words in such a way that it can come into three-dimensional reality, not just two-dimensional reality. And now what if God wants to take that the next step?
Yeah.
And he wants to bring things into four-dimensional reality by using who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Not just what you do, but using who you are. And now what's in your life and then what's produced out of your life lasts eternally.
Yeah.
Like, what if that's the journey we're supposed to be on? That's not a journey of like, okay, I'm a man, I need to stop doing the bad things.
Right.
Or I need to just do all my routines. And I'm not against the routines, like whether it be working out, eating right, reading your Bible, praying. I'm not against any of those routines. I am against the ritual that starts to lose eternal meaning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what if that could be our lives?
It'd be incredible. Absolutely incredible. I was thinking about our friend Eli was talking back when we were at the marriage reset. He was talking to you and I one evening, and he was I was wrestling through some of these questions with him, and he very clearly said, Austin, you got to quit thinking about work as work for wages. Work is for worship.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, that sounds cool, right?
Yeah.
Explain that more, though. But then he went on and he said, man, God has knit a unique piece of us. We're created in his image.
Yes.
He knit a unique piece of us and created us in a certain way that no one else has.
Yeah.
And the whole world is waiting for us to reveal that out and how we live our lives and how we interact on this planet, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that I can get behind. So as you're talking about your friend that's an architect, it's like, man, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the identity piece we talked about last time.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah.
And when you are you, God is glorified.
Yeah.
Because it's his thumbprint. It's his unique identity, his image that's just it's like that little piece. And therefore then we each become then, when we act in that identity, when we live in that identity, not just act, we become God's gift to this world.
Yeah.
And also everything we do then has joy that's with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so together with this verse out of Mark 8:36, one of the things that we've talked about several times lately is the Westminster Catechism. And it's just this simple two phrases put together in a sentence, that is, how does it go?
Man's primary purpose is to enjoy God and glorify him forever.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's it.
Yeah.
That's the only catechism I can
No, that's
remember.
it. That's it. So it's the chief, the chief end of man. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The chief end of man is to glorify God and enjoy him forever.
Yeah.
Two statements or two parts that is, if we take it apart, the first one is glorifying God.
Yeah.
I think most men interact with that part of it, even if they're framing it like, okay, well, I need to glorify God. Well, what do I need to do for him?
Exactly. Yeah.
What do I need to do for God, do for God, do for God? If I do it, it brings God glory.
Yeah.
But what if before we ever do, what if actually glorifying God as an image bearer is just being?
Yeah.
What if that's, and I really think it is. I think God takes the greatest glory out of his sons being like him.
Yeah.
And just manifesting his image. I know my greatest joy as an earthly father, even as a kind of fallen earthly father, is to see my boys be who I've always hoped that they would become.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, and is it manifest in what they're doing? Yeah. But really, it's first about who they're being.
Yeah.
And so if that's true, then how much more with God as our eternal Father that's focused on identity first? How much does he celebrate? How much does he rejoice? How much does it glorify him if we are first just being who he's made us to be?
Yeah.
And then out of that we'll do.
Yeah.
But the fruits of doing come out of the roots of being.
Yep.
And if we don't get the roots right, then we're going to really struggle to produce the right fruit.
Exactly.
And then we're back at the place of like, oh man, look at the bad fruit in my life. I must be bad. And it's back to the accusation. And God's like, no. Out of the fruits of being come, or out of the roots of being come the fruits of doing.
Yeah.
And then the second part of it is not just to glorify God, but to enjoy him.
Yeah.
And what do you think that means? What does that mean to enjoy God? Like if that's, and I think that's such a concise statement. So if that is the chief end of man, or if that's like the best we could do, is those two things. What does that second one mean?
Gosh, I think there's elements of like enjoying his creation. There's those elements, and I think each of those I might enjoy it differently than you might enjoy it by the way that we're wired. But I think really, and I don't know if this is maybe more of where it's at, but it's like there's those times when you are doing something and you're like, this is the most, like, God gave me this gift to do this one thing, and I'm like living in it. And it's like effortless. I think like what a lot of people would call flow, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm not even thinking about it. It's just happening. And what's coming out of it is creative and beautiful and unique. And there's an immense amount of joy in that. I don't know. What do you think about that? Am I way off base there with that?
I mean, by flow, how do you mean that? Like, what does that mean exactly?
Well,
I mean, I'm tracking with you, but it like what puts you in the flow?
I think it's just like communion with God of like, hey, God, I am okay. So I'm going to use this is a small example, but Ash and I were doing this. We had this wall that we were doing on this project, and she wanted to like freehand this paint pieces and all this, and it's very rarely that we can both just work together and be like fully creative, kind of unrestricted, because you couldn't mess it up really, you know?
Sure.
And we both left that project. I remember in the moment of doing it, like, okay, God, would you guide my hands, you know? And like, there's this communion with him in this of like, I'm trusting him to guide me, to direct me, to show me how to do this thing that created this dependence, but this like communion and joy that was really hard. It's hard to explain.
Yes.
It wasn't out of my own effort. It wasn't out of like, I need to try to do this. I need to try to get this. I need to try to whatever. It was like, there's just this freedom.
Man, I love that.
Peace
So
there.
so it's like the absence of striving.
Yeah.
And the absence of probably then stress or pressure.
Yeah.
That's pressure performance.
Yeah.
But instead, like what you described was co-creating.
Yes.
With God and with your wife.
Yeah.
Okay. Which man, what a way to approach it then.
Mm-hmm.
So then what if we just took that and said, all right, so one of the ways we enjoy God, and I think you brought up two now. One of them would be through creation.
Yes.
Which let's swing back to that.
Yeah.
But that is like enjoying with what God created.
Mm-hmm.
But then the second one is enjoying as we create.
Yeah.
And as we can co-create with God, partner with him and with others in something that matters.
Yeah.
And man, I think that would be a great way to even just approach things is like, man, God, how can I be in this with you?
Yeah.
But also how can I be in it with somebody else?
Yeah.
Yeah. And not feel like I have to be somebody else or compete with somebody else, but how can I be in this in a way that completes somebody else?
Yeah.
And that I just bring the best of who I am.
Yeah.
And I don't feel the pressure to be who you are, Austin, or any other person around me. I'm just going to try to be me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make space for other people to be them.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, I'm going to do it kind of with the right people and also, I think, with the right purpose.
Yeah.
Because I think it's not just if we lose enjoyment, we might do the right thing for the wrong reason. There's no enjoyment in that.
There's no peace.
Yeah. But if we do the right thing for the right reason, as the right person, and then with the right other people, that's probably flow.
Yeah.
That's the place where, man, you just, what you said is it feels easy.
Yeah. Time doesn't matter.
And it's not easy like vacation.
No.
It's easy like it's productive easy.
Yeah.
It's like it's God's you realize God's producing something through you. And so what John 15 says is so he says, if you will abide in me and my words will abide in you. In other words, like if you'll, and really so much of John, especially that section, is talking about a marriage. And so the abode is the house that we live in with God. And so that's the word that's used there. And so now that we've married ourselves to God, what house do we live in? And he's like, I want you to live in my house.
Yeah.
Do everything with me. I in you, you in me. And he says, and then you will bear much fruit. He doesn't say you will produce much fruit.
Interesting.
He says, no, I'm the vine.
Yeah.
You're the branch. But in this unity, my power, my strength, my life will flow through you, and you'll have fruit in your life. And it's fruit that remains. It's not fruit that rots. And I think that word even remain is not even just about, it's like, it's long lasting. It's actually fruit that reproduces, and it reproduces life eternal.
Wow.
This like glorify God, enjoy him forever is, I really think it's that spot where you realize somehow God is flowing through you and he's using all of who you are to bear something that he has produced.
Yeah.
And it fills you not with that independent, prideful, like, oh, look what I did.
Yeah.
It fills you with this humble awe and gratitude that's like,
how did this happen?
God, look what you did.
Yeah.
And I know as a part of it.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened, though.
Yeah.
That's like beautiful. Like that's so much better than me.
Yeah.
And what a way to live. Instead of in the spot that's like, okay, I know I worked, I achieved this, I made this, but short term in satisfaction. But instead, man, this is fruit that will remain, and it will remain for eternity. And so even, one of the things that over this last few months, again, we've kind of talked about this. I don't know if I mentioned this podcast, but there's this old movie called Chariots of Fire.
Yeah.
There's this quote in it that basically the main character, I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah, Eric Liddell.
Yeah. He was called to mission field and said he's running in the Olympics, and he's getting reprimanded basically for not doing the thing he ought to do, doing the duty of God to go to the mission field. And he says something along the lines of, "No, I know who I am, and I know I have a purpose. I also know that God made me fast.
Wow.
And when I run, I feel his pleasure."
Wow.
And that thing of that's been a lot to me over this
Gosh.
last year as well, Austin. That is, I know that there's some things that are eternal, like the mission field. Okay,
Yeah.
but what he's saying in it is, but it's not about going to do the thing out of duty.
Yeah.
And God used him actually more because he ran,
Yeah.
and he ran with the right thing in his mind,
Yeah.
and something that to his sister seemed very superficial,
Yeah.
of like, you're just running around a track,
Yeah.
you're just running circles. He was saying, no, in this, God is redeeming even the running in circles, because I'm enjoying his pleasure in it. Like and even just go back to my own kids again. My hope for them is not to just become the men that I've always hoped that they could be. It's that they would want me still involved in their lives, and that they would, and that I would get to enjoy that with them, and that they would enjoy me.
Yeah.
Okay, being in it with them.
Yeah.
Even if they become incredible dads, incredible husbands, the identity that I've seen them grow up into, if they do that without me, man, like I'll feel deep loss. And I think that's where God's just like, no, I enjoy you.
Yeah.
Matt, I enjoy you. Austin, I enjoy you. And I enjoy being in it with you. Enjoy being in it with me.
Yeah.
And what a life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So what if what if we could just become as wise of supernatural investors as we become in being superficial employees, employers, business owners, whatever. Like, that's like we've all gotten really good in this Western world about seeing profits, discerning how to make more profits. And what if we just said, God, how can I now invest into eternity? How can I not just do the right thing, but how can I do the right thing for the right reason as the right person? Not trying to be somebody else, just being me, and experience purpose, eternal purpose in everything we do every day. I got this text message from a guy this morning, actually, that was at the last reset, that said to me, he was like, and it was in the middle of him saying, man, I've got a lot to do today and for my job. He's like, but you need to know my job has changed.
Wow.
And nothing about like the logistic of his job.
Yeah.
But eternity has changed in his job. And it's like, and he's like, I'm alive.
Wow.
And what he would have said is like he had fallen asleep.
Wow.
But he's like, I'm awake again. I'm alive again, and spiritually awake. And I think that's my hope for my life. I don't want to miss out on eternity. Jesus suffered so that we could bear his image.
Yeah.
And so that we could fulfill eternal purpose.
Yeah.
And so he's like, don't try and save your life.
Yeah.
Lose it. Like, die to that old self so that you can be resurrected again. I'm going to die and be resurrected again. You can too. Die to that old stuff. Be resurrected anew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What an invitation.
It is.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a great way to say it. It's probably, it is the greatest invitation
It is
ever given.
Yeah. Yeah. And it takes such a step of faith, I think, for so many of us to be able to step out and say, okay, I'm gonna lay down, I'm gonna set down this sword of certainty of all the things I know it can produce, and I'm gonna pick up this sword.
Yes.
And I don't know how to wield it yet. I don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
But the Father's gonna show me how.
Yes. And that brings it back around to what you said to start off with, which I love, is that brings it back to a place of the right risk. You know, like when it's like, oh man, but what if I let go of what was valuable to me, or that what I knew how to do? Well, what if?
What if?
What if this is the greatest risk you ever take? And even to just bring back, even in your last thing of like, what if it helps you enjoy the sunrises again?
Yeah.
What if it helps you enjoy people again?
Yeah.
And what if you're in the people business and you've just gotten so sick of people?
Yeah.
What if you're in the outdoor business? You know, you're doing construction,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't even look at the sunrises and sunsets anymore, because you're losing your soul.
Yeah.
And all you're looking at is the ground in front of you and the next task at hand, and the next problem that happens with more people. What if God could take all of that and add life into, so where we can enjoy His creation again?
Yeah.
Both animate and inanimate creation.
Yeah.
Man, that's what we're made for.
Yeah. It is. Man.
Yeah. You got a parting thought?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking Matthew 6:30 through 33, and the Message version says, if God gives such attention, this is Jesus talking, to the appearance of wildflowers, most of which are never even seen. I mean, you think about like Ashton loves to find these flowers. She loves to show these, pictures to the boys. They'll go check out books from the library of wild plants and flowers and animals. And it's like some of these things, like most of the world never even sees them. And God created them with so much beauty and intentionality. Yes. So Jesus goes on to say, most of which are never even seen. Don't you think He'll attend to you?
Yeah.
Take pride in you? Do His best for you? And then I love what it says. What I'm trying to get you to do here is to relax, to not be so preoccupied with getting. And that's for me.
Yes.
It's that like, okay, how do I produce? How do I go? How do I chase that profit? To not be so preoccupied with getting so you can respond to God's giving. People who don't know God and the way He works fuss over these things, but you know both God and how He works. And so I almost think there's should be like a so that or whatever, or like, come on, so really listen to this here.
Yeah.
So you know how He works. So why don't you just, and he goes on to say, steep your life in God reality, God initiative, God provision, and don't worry about missing out. You'll find all of your everyday human concerns will be met.
And it's a great word to steep yourself, like soak like a tea bag in it.
Yeah, and you're not going to miss out. You're not So, I mean, Jesus is saying, go after these eternal, these kingdom things, these things that you don't necessarily even know. You're putting seed in the ground, and you don't even know what kind of beautiful plant it's going to produce and what is going to yield from it. Like go do that. And all the things that you need for today, right now, I'm going to take care of it.
Yes.
Go think further out.
Man, will you pray that over us?
Yeah.
Also pray that blessing over us.
God, we love you. And you're such a good, loving, and gracious Father. And the fact that you've created us in your image and we're here to glorify you and enjoy you. I mean, what a beautiful invitation that is. And we just so often forget of what that means. We think of it as duty and things that we need to go do. And it's just the opposite of that. And God, I just pray that we would truly take to heart these words that you gave us and seek you and seek your kingdom first, and that we would have kingdom thoughts, that we'd have kingdom ideas as men, that we would risk for the kingdom and risk for things that are uncertain and unknown, but that we have faith that you're going to produce something great out of, God. And that we would do that, and that we would trust you so much with our lives that we know that our everyday human concerns, that right here, right now, will be taken care of, God. Lord, I pray that we would be men who risk for you, and that we'd give you our best and our first. We love you. Amen.
Amen.
That's good.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys next time on the Rise to Tide Life podcast.